There are times when models simply become so large and complex as to be completely overwhelming. This particular one is the World 3 model from Limits to Growth from the Club of Rome. And it's just an extremely involved model. If you were to look at all of it, go ahead and zoom to fit, notice that it's just, there's a lot of variables and converters, and it's just extremely difficult to understand. And it would be very nice if you could sort of abstract some of the complexity so that you didn't have to look at all of the model at once. You could find parts of it that went together and you could look at them and not be overwhelmed by all the rest of the model, which is exactly what the folders option in Insight Maker is intended to allow you to do. So that if you create a couple of variables, create a stock, and then this is just some pieces at the moment. If you then go ahead and drag select them, if you now click, you notice there's an option that says create folder, and you can create folder from this drop down also. So you now have a set of items that are in a folder, and you can label this folder whatever, and then you can move it around because all these things are in the folder, and you can close it, make it whatever size you want to, and therefore you don't have to look at all of the things that are in the folder at any particular time. And if I create some other variable out here, create a variable, oh, I'll create it out here, create another variable, I can go ahead and use this link and draw a link from here to here so that even when I close the folder, that link is still there, but I don't have to look at what it was connected to. The folder itself doesn't have a value. It's just a place to put things so that you can close it and hide them. You can move things around. You can take things out of the folder. You can create new and notice that when you put them back in the folder highlights so you know that it's inside the folder. If you want to delete a folder, it will delete all of the content of the folder. So if I select the folder and hit delete, it's all gone. Fortunately, Control Z works so I can get it back if I accidentally delete it. If I want to delete a folder but not delete the content, what I have to do is I have to take all of the items out of it. And you can tell when you have all the items out of a folder because the little close handle is missing. You can't close this window anymore because there's nothing in it. So now if you delete it, it's gone, but the variables aren't deleted. So let me bring it back. So I can put these things back inside of it. Oh, I actually didn't put them inside of it because it doesn't think it's a folder anymore. Uh, but I can create a new one. It's easy enough. Make another folder. So there. So the whole idea of the folder is that you want to abstract segments of the model so that it just, you don't have to look at all of it at once, and it's not so complicated, and you can actually put folders inside of folders so that here's a folder. So all of this is in a folder, and I have a folder inside of a folder. So I can close the outside and it's all closed. And I open that up and I see all the rest of it. Now if this was closed, I could close them separately. So when I open this folder, that folder is still closed. So you don't have to have all the pieces inside or outside. It depends upon what serves your purpose in terms of abstracting the complexity into labeled segments so that you or someone else don't have to think about the entire model at once and be overwhelmed by the pieces. I showed you the World 3 model. This is essentially the same model only it's been abstracted into here are a set of components that have to do with food and agriculture, capital investment, pollution, and if you open this folder, notice that there are sort of a manageable number of elements that are in that folder. It makes connections well, there's a connection from this folder and some from this folder, and it makes connections back to this folder, but you don't have to think about all of the pieces at once. You've sort of chunked it up into hopefully manageable segments so that it's easier to work on and easier to understand because you have a set of primitives that go together. I mean, the variables, the converters, and the stocks that are related to a particular concept, and you've abstracted them so that you get a sense that this model says that there's an interaction between the food and agricultural, natural resources, material standard of living, capital investment, pollution, and population, and they interact to produce a set of implications for those relationships, which unfolds over time. And personally, I think that looking at this is far preferable to looking at this model because it's overwhelming. How do you get your head around this? And this is actually a small model. I mean, there are some that are just hundreds of pieces. So the folder capability will serve you well. Hope you find it most useful, and I'll see you in another session. Take care. Bye.